Let's stick around and let's sit down for Dr. McCullough right now. Hey, everyone. I have Chief Scientific Officer at the Wellness Company. I also was at an event with him. He's probably not going to remember, but we were in Nashville together getting awards. I was sitting at his table. You're not going to remember that. But yeah, I was sitting right across to you. I was like, I got to talk to him. And I actually ended up talking to a bunch of people that worked with you at the part of the Wellness Company. And if people don't know, I mean, it's been decades of probably the most published cardiologist in the world, Dr. Peter McCullough. Thank you for coming on, Doctor.
Well, thanks for having me. It's a generous introduction. And it's great to be on the program. You know, I just slid over to the studio. We're in my clinic here in Dallas, Texas, so I just finished with patients.
So you make the ivermectin. I am a huge fan of ivermectin. I take ivermectin. I also used your emergency kits because I often travel to Africa, and I tell everyone the emergency kit is the way to go. It's got everything you need in there. But the ivermectin, I'm a huge fan of ivermectin. And people, I would say it really came front and center during the pandemic. I mean, you got a Nobel Prize-winning medication. But now it seems people understand ivermectin, but I notice when I go to other countries, are they making it in different places? Because I've been to Costa Rica, I've been to Belize, and they'll sell it right over the counter. I don't have to call anyone. They're selling it right there at the drugstore. I believe in Costa Rica, they had it at the airport when I landed. And
well, there you go. Yeah. Well, now, was it cheap or was it kind of pricey?
It was cheap. It was really cheap. However, okay. I will say this. My daughter and I believe we both got COVID. It was during that time. It was right after COVID. And both my daughter and I was like, oh, no, I think we're in trouble here. And we were trying to suppress our coughing. And we bought the ivermectin. And I tell people, on my life, I think it was just over 24 hours. I lost my cough. I lost everything. We were cleared up. It was incredible. And I still use it. But now it seems that certain places you can get it, certain places you can't. But your company's making it.
Right. So let me try to level set here. You know, I was in Panama, and it was also sold over the counter, but it wasn't cheap. When I added it up, I said, boy, this is not inexpensive. Ivermectin turned out to be, the big winner of the pandemic. The overall study showed it reduced mortality. And a very important paper in 2020 by Roster and colleagues showed in the ICON study, it was published in Chest, one of the best medical journals, that it reduced mortality in the hospital. You know, everybody who was admitted with COVID should have gotten ivermectin. Now we've learned it has broader effects beyond COVID-19. It probably reduces all viral infections. It's a very effective antiparasitic. I had this same experience. I was on a ski trip recently, took my 92-year-old mother-in-law. We went to a church service. Okay. She came home and she developed a fever, nasal congestion. She started to get sick quick. And I said, I bet Mama got COVID. And we just fired up the ivermectin. Now, she's tiny, so she only needed 24 milligrams a day. And just as you said, it was like a miracle. She cleared up very rapidly. Now, I always advise nasal sprays and gargles. We did that as well. So ivermectin is one of the most useful drugs. I don't take it every day. I don't even recommend for it to be taken preventively, just on demand when sick as part of the McCullough protocol, which is the most widely used protocol in the world to treat COVID-19. McCullough protocol has been credited with saving tens of millions of lives, sparing hundreds of millions of hospitalizations. Vaccines never saved lives. It was early treatment. Now the Wellness Company makes high-quality ivermectin right here in the United States, and you can get it online. Now you go through some questions quickly with the doctor. It's sent out to you right away. It's affordable. Everybody should have a supply of ivermectin.
And, also, when I said where I got it was cheap, I just understood something. From the Wellness Company, the amount of grams or milligrams, whatever the percent,
Right. The dose.
the dose, thank you, is much higher than the ones that I've had. So I looked at it. I looked at an old bottle, like the one I got in Belize. I'm like, oh, it was like $1 something. However, the dose is much lower, and that's what I'm telling people. With a 3-month supply or 6-month supply, you get a much higher dose and it knocks it out a lot quicker. And I still not.
Yeah.
And you know, even Africa, I go to Tanzania a lot and I go there. They take it as an anti-malaria pill on Sunday. They call it Happy Sundays. When I would go there, I'm like, what happy anti-malaria pill? I'm like,
well, just to clarify, I was in Tanzania too last year. It's actually hydroxychloroquine's taken on Sunday as an anti-malarial. Ivermectin, ivermectin is used as an anti-parasitic. Now, we saw the Maasai people. You probably saw them as well with the red capes. You know, they drink water, just dirty water right out of the stream. They'll drink muddy brown water. We saw them. And of course, the water certainly can have parasites in it. They do have effective access to these drugs in Tanzania. They also have, by the way, a very effective 3-day protocol of a product called Artem H, ARTEM-H, and that's to treat active malaria, since they have some chloroquine-resistant malaria there. And I was so impressed with how rapidly people get better now with malaria. What a new world we're in. That disease used to be so miserable.
It used to be really, really bad. Yeah. However, now clear. So, can I ask you about this? It started. What I started seeing online, I just want to clarify, with links to helping cancer or certain types of ivermectin. Can you tell me about that? Is that true? Is there science? Is there a science behind that, or a preventative, or anything like that?
There are really now a bevy of preclinical studies showing that ivermectin may have anti-neoplastic or anti-cancer effects, particularly when combined with another anti-parasitic agent, either membenazole or fembenazole.
Yes.
Now, with membenazole, fembenazole, there are actually direct cancer studies showing they have anti-cancer effects. So ivermectin is being advanced in a clinical trial protocol by Cedars-Sinai, UCLA now, in patients with fairly advanced breast cancer. But because it's so safe, and, people have the right to try. Patients, I have a lot of sympathy for patients deep into cancer. And, they've done chemotherapy, surgery, and radiation, and they're looking for something else. Now it's available, ivermectin, membenazole combination from the wellness company. You get a 90-day supply, very affordable, very safe. We always tell patients, go over this with your cancer doctors. And what I find more times than not, the cancer doctor said, listen, give it a shot.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Because I can honestly say there are still a lot of people in the regular pharmaceutical world that I would define the regular that will not steer you in that direction. I'm being on my hand to God. I can't tell you how many people I know that have been that have gotten cancer. And just this morning, my friend Eddie, his brother, I believe, has stage 4. And he's finally now willing to try what you said, that antidote, because people are still in that mind of like, I have to take the chemo, I have to take this, and I have to, and not to say that doesn't work, but this is an alternative that's really helping. I know for a fact there's one guy who had colon cancer, stage 4, went through chemo, went through everything, and he now helps people with the same protocol exactly what you're talking about. And that is my hand to God. I'm not even kidding you. Why do you think, on a personal level, why do you think that was held from the public for so long? Was the studies not there, or is that a money thing? Why wouldn't they put that out there as an alternative, like that it could possibly prevent or help it?
Well, it has to do with how cancer clinical trials are created. So virtually all cancer in the care in the United States is controlled through the National Cancer Institute, which is a federal agency of the National Institutes of Health. And the NCI and all the cancer cooperatives decide on what drugs should be in the protocols. Most of the time, it's the fancy, new, expensive drugs that are in these protocols. And very rarely would they reach back and pick a very inexpensive drug and test it in a trial. Now, for instance, high-dose statins have been tested. There have been other generic products that have been tested. But up until recently, ivermectin and mebendazole simply haven't been selected for the trials, so the studies haven't been there. And the reason why I say more and more doctors are opening up to it, because patients are doing their own research. Patients are getting frustrated with the lack of progress here. And, it boils down to why not? And on top of that, there is a disturbing trend in what's called turbo cancers. Have you heard of that?
I wanted to pick your brain about that.
Yeah, turbo cancer. So, it's just announced today that the artist for the cartoon Dilbert, remember Dilbert, the cartoon?
Yeah.
The artist just passed away. It just came up on my social media feed. And Trump made a comment, and I said, boy, it's kind of terrible. And then I kind of looked into it. What type of cancer? Well, it was prostate cancer.
There's a lot of that going around right now.
I know, but then I looked and I said, wait a minute. Well, how old was he? It turns out he was only 68 years old. I mean, that's not much older than I am. Wait a minute. I don't have 68-year-old patients in my practice dying of prostate cancer. I checked 2 prostates today. I mean, I physically checked them with my finger, and I'm going to follow up with a PSA. I mean, I just don't let patients get prostate cancer, let alone let them die of prostate cancer. And I mean, I think it's shocking that President Biden has widely metastatic prostate cancer. I mean, talk about falling asleep at the switch here.
I could honestly say, I don't know anything about the medical world, but I won't blame it on anything. But I know for a fact, after COVID, I don't know who took what or who decided to get the needle, but I know for a fact 2 healthy people in my life within a year passed away. One had, I would call, extremely aggressive esophagus cancer. The guy never smoked in his life.
I had
terrible. A friend too, had a heart attack. They tried to on the heart. I also know, I can count on my life 4 or 5 people that had what you would call turbo cancers. And what I don't understand is for people in that world, is there something we can do about that right now? Is there something that's hopeful for it, Doctor?
There certainly is. And let me just provide some commentary here. I want to be honest. I don't want to scare anyone, but it may be the viral infection and the vaccine, both, that have led us towards getting cancer. And that's a little scary.
Without a doubt, everyone I mentioned got multiple.
I know, but here's the thing. 81% of Americans took 1 or more shots. 19% didn't. And Jim, I didn't take them.
I didn't take them.
I didn't take them. So I can't blame the vaccine, but I'm following the literature. And there are some papers written, particularly prostate and bladder cancer. The bladder handles the spike protein as it's broken down from the body and eliminated. That in fact, maybe the spike protein from the virus is cancer producing. We know other viruses are cancer producing, like Epstein-Barr virus or retinoblastoma virus. It's possible. Well, if that's the case, there was a paper written early in the pandemic that they were seeing more and more bladder cancers. Well, we've just published on a bladder cancer, huge one, in a woman who's 31. I've never seen this in my life. She took the vaccines. We found vaccine and spike protein right in the cancer. Look at Deion Sanders, former Dallas Cowboy great. He's had his whole bladder removed. And, he's in his 50s. I've never seen this before in my 40-year career. I think the vaccines, and there's more and more data suggesting for sure the vaccines predispose someone to cancer. Now, the average cancer that's a solid cancer, like kidney or lung cancer, that's been brewing for 5 years before it's detected. So if someone took some shots and they got cancer 2 years later, they probably actually had the cancer at the time they got the shots, and the vaccines just accelerated it. That's the reason why we call it turbo cancer. But anytime you hear about a young cancer death, like prostate cancer in their 60s, people have reported to me the most outrageous things. The most horrible thing I heard is a man contacted me and said, Dr. McCullough, my daughter in high school took the shots and she died of metastatic ovarian cancer before her senior prom.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never heard of that before.
No,
never.
You're hearing more and more and more and more. I mean, there's someone even part of this group here, extremely young person. I don't want to, he's not here, but he started telling me his story. He's 20, 21. And the next thing you know, he's battling a type of cancer. Thank God he's fine now through the protocol and all that. But more and more and more you see people. So one last thing. I know there's also, what are they finding too in the veins? Like when some people die, they're starting the clots.
Right.
Does your company have something that fights the clots as well?
Yeah.
Like the blood clots?
Yeah,
or something
it's
like
true. We've been talking about the spike protein, which are these little prickly things on the surface of the virus. They cause blood clotting. And normally blood should liquefy at death. It's been forming giant clots, and the embalmers have been reporting this. It's probably due to the virus or the vaccine or both. And at the Wellness Company, we have the ultimate spike detox, which is the only scientifically supported evidence-based approach on how you're going to get the spike protein out of your body. So it uses medicinal grade, high dose, nattokinase, bromelain, curcumin, and some other minor ingredients. We have case after case after case of patients having reductions in spike antibodies, improvement of their syndromes. I just had a patient today markedly get better out of a very serious kidney failure situation, largely because of spike detox. Now, I also used the other prescription drugs he needed, but this was a young guy. His wife was terrified, that her husband and father of 2 little kids was going to end up on kidney dialysis or need a transplant. And he's nearly back. So everybody ought to consider the ultimate spike detox. Got to be taken on an empty stomach. If you've taken the vaccines or had COVID multiple times, long COVID, any type of vaccine problem, this is the fundamental approach. Nothing else directly works. Everything else can help with symptoms like nicotine or ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, other things have been tried, but they don't fundamentally get rid of the spike protein except for ultimate spike detox.
So at the ultimate, do they need to consult a doctor? Like if let's say I was vaccinated, I'm just worried, I'm starting to freak out because I'm hearing about blood clots. Do I just go there and order it and I'm safe to take it with the right, or is there a doctor there? How does that, can anyone get it? Or
anyone can get the ultimate spike detox. Wellness companies have doctors available 24/7. I don't think a doctor's really needed.
Okay.
Provided you understand what you're doing. Now, if patients are on prescription blood thinners, they should review with their doctor. I prescribe this along with prescription blood thinners every day. The main side effect is increased risk of bleeding. So, easy bruising, bleeding, nosebleeds, bleeding from brushing the gums. It means the dose is too high. This is high dose, but it's well below the safety concern level of nattokinase. And boy, does it work. Now, it takes time. The average person takes about a year to clear this stuff out of the body. But I had COVID 3 times. I was very uncomfortable with the spike protein. My ears were ringing. I knew something wasn't right. I measured my blood test. It was high. Boom. Go on spike detox. Problem solved.
Well, I want to thank you for putting this together because I'm telling you, during COVID, you saved my life and you gave so much information. I remember watching you go on Joe Rogan and so many other podcasts, and I learned so much from you and what you were putting out there, and I thank you for putting that out there. And I personally trust you. And so because of that, I definitely support your company, and I'm glad there's someone like you out there putting out something like the Wellness Company, and I hope many people reach out to it. And I can't thank you enough for everything you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. Make sure you go to twc.health. My promo code is / focal points. You may have one, Jim, as well.
It's Jim.
Is it Jim?
It's Jim. Yeah.
Oh, you got the best one. So twc.health / Jim. That's the simplest one. Get a discount. Check out all the products at the Wellness Company. Wellness Company is far and away the most successful and brightest corporate development coming out of the pandemic in the entire world. And it's been a great honor to be a part of it. And we're so grateful to have you in the family now, Jim.
Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, I'd met a couple of the people that work just under you at that in Nashville, Tennessee. I think it was last year. And I loved talking with them. They gave me tons of information, and I was dying to reach out, and I'm glad this all worked out. So thank you for your time, and thank you for all you do, Dr. Peter McCullough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Jim Breuer here. Tickets for my Find the Funny